Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. We're going to unpack exactly what happened when four unmarried couples sat down to take a raw, totally unscripted, 100% honesty test. I mean, we're talking about real people here, completely stripping away those polite little relationship filters we all use and confronting the exact kinds of questions that, let's be real, most of us completely avoid on a daily basis. Now, it's super easy to judge from the outside looking in. But before we look at their incredibly vulnerable answers, I want you to take a second, look in the mirror, and ask yourself, how would you and your partner fare with this prompt? Seriously, if you had to sit across from your significant other with cameras rolling and answer the absolutely hardest questions about your relationship with zero hesitation, would your bonds strengthen, or would the cracks start to show? To make sense of all this beautiful, messy reality, we've structured our explainer today around the 5 tests of relationship honesty: privacy and personal boundaries, shadows of past relationships, intimacy and breakup fears, navigating conflicts and apologies, and finally, facing the future together. So let's get right to it. Starting off with test 1, privacy and personal boundaries. Specifically, the overwhelming temptation of the smartphone. It's actually fascinating how early on, boundaries are tested by the sheer urge to just check a partner's phone. Like, one partner admitted to checking her boyfriend's phone, but get this, not out of suspicion, but for what she called double cleansing. Yeah, double cleansing. She explained that he seemed almost too real, He wasn't constantly texting other girls or acting shady at all, but her past experiences had made her so incredibly skeptical of a quote-unquote good guy that she literally felt she needed to secretly verify he wasn't hiding some sort of double life. And man, this brilliantly illustrates the real danger of snooping. Another partner painfully admitted that digging for answers often just leads to finding things you were never ever meant to see. With this really heavy admission, curiosity killed the cat, it killed me. We learned that her urge to just check up on her partner led straight to discovering I love you messages sent to a female friend. Now, even if the context was allegedly innocent, the breach of trust on both sides, that creates a wound that is incredibly hard to heal. Moving right along to test 2, shadows of past relationships. Let's talk about dealing with the ghosts of exes. So here we have this absolutely fascinating contrast between how two people in the exact same relationship process their romantic histories. On one side, we've got a partner who easily sweeps his exes under the bridge. Basically, once it's over, it is completely over. Done. But on the flip side, his girlfriend explains that giving all your heart naturally leaves residual emotional effects. For her, occasionally checking in on an ex isn't about lingering romance at all. It's really about the fact that you just can't completely erase someone you once cared so deeply for. So the absolutely crucial point here is the friction of unmet expectations. I mean, it is incredibly human to feel vulnerable when you commit 100% to someone, essentially leaving your own past under the bridge, only to suddenly discover they still occasionally check in on people from their past. The partner said, I thought that I would get the same energy. Assuming your partner processes the past exactly the same way you do, expecting that same energy is a massive blind spot in so many relationships. Which brings us to test 3, intimacy and breakup fears. We're looking at physical connection and the sudden urge to just walk away. To add a little bit of levity to a pretty heavy intimacy discussion, one woman actually gave her boyfriend a very specific 69 out of 100 rating in bed. Now hold on, this wasn't necessarily a complaint about his skills. She intentionally gave him a heavy B grade just so she wouldn't give him an A. Her logic? Well, if he thinks he's perfect, he's going to stop trying. So by keeping this score just out of reach of perfection, she ensures he'll keep striving to improve. Pretty clever, honestly. But when the conversation shifted to breaking up, the messy, unscripted dialogue revealed something super interesting. The urge to walk away usually stems from internal vulnerabilities, not from actually falling out of love. Like, one partner almost walked away out of pure fear, just the fear of not living up to their partner's high expectations. Another cited extreme work stress that led to a perceived lack of attention. And fascinatingly, another admitted to almost walking away purely to self-sabotage a growing affection. Because, let's face it, falling deeply in love can feel downright terrifying. All right, test 4, navigating conflicts and apologies. This is all about how couples fight and ultimately forgive. There's a brilliant dynamic at play here that I am absolutely sure many of you will recognize. On one hand, we have a guy who outright refuses to let his girlfriend win arguments, even when she's actually right. Why? Because he feels this intense need to defend pure logic. And on the flip side, his girlfriend openly admits she weaponizes her words because she lacks physical strength. It's this classic standoff. stubborn logic versus piercing words. Both are basically just used as defense mechanisms when vulnerability feels way too risky in the heat of a fight. And that perfectly illustrates the next major pitfall, the silent grudge. Another couple highlighted this incredibly destructive cycle where one partner locks all their anger inside, just completely shutting down. They end up sitting there, waiting for an apology for an offense the other person doesn't even know they committed. It's a total communication dead end, where one person just expects their partner to be a mind reader. It really proves that silence, can sometimes be the loudest and most damaging weapon in any argument. Finally, we've made it to test 5, facing the future together. We're diving into marriage, money, and shared dreams. When these couples were forced to be completely honest about their dreams, we immediately saw some very different visions of celebration. We get that classic contrast, the desire for a massive, trending, all eyes on us wedding, going right up against the dream of a quiet, intimate gathering down by the water. But the crucial takeaway here isn't actually the disagreement over the party size. It's the underlying realization that the wedding is literally just one day, while the marriage, that's for a lifetime. Yet despite having completely different wedding dreams, they shared this profound resilience. This was perfectly captured by one partner who bluntly noted, "Marriage can't do shit. Never. We have faced challenges." They explained that surviving those early, incredibly gritty struggles together, like literally secretly squatting side by side in a radio station just to make ends meet, that cements a bond so deep that a piece of paper won't miraculously alter it. They've already done the hard work in the trenches together. So, the big overarching takeaway from all 4 of these couples is that radical honesty really does pave the way for a stronger future. When you strip away the ego, you realize that practicing open communication during those awful silent grudges, fiercely supporting each other's crazy financial and career goals, and committing to never, ever stop learning about your partner, even when you think you know them completely inside out, that right there is the actual formula for long-term success. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final kind of provocative thought. If the cameras were on you right now and you couldn't hide behind polite excuses or half-truths, how deep does the honesty really run in your own relationship? And more importantly, are you brave enough to find out? Keep exploring, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.